Hey, Bodega Tribe, good morning. And what is today? The 29th, I believe. I'm not sure. But actually it's the 30th. It's almost 2022 and I'm super excited to be on here today to share with you how this coming year you can actually be more consistent in your goals. And so I actually have some top five tips here that I want to share with you guys. And this is going to sound a little bit different than you would normally find when people are talking about how to be consistent with their goals, because I've been doing this for a long time. And so yes, I had followed the advice that's always being shared, but then I started to navigate a lot deeper into health and fitness and personal development. And that has really just created an internal expert where I'm able to pull out a lot of the tools and techniques over the years that have really been different and have helped me stay consistent with my own goals and have me coach my clients to stay consistent with theirs. So top 5 things that I want to share with you guys is first of all, you need to work on your mind space, your mindset, your head space, that internal talk that you have in your head. You know, are you consistently talking negative to yourself? Are you in doubt? Do you feel like you're already going to quit? Because the more that you are in your head, which is pretty much always, especially as a woman, and you have self-doubt and you're always talking negative to yourself that you can't accomplish something, or you're not worth that, or that's too good to be true. You know, you're always putting yourself down. And if you're always doing that, then you're not going to achieve these goals that feel like are out of your reach. So you need to have goals and you need to work on your headspace. You need to find your self-worth. And the way that you do that is working on yourself, taking care of yourself, feeding yourself higher quality food, showing up for yourself and exercising, working on that headspace, sitting down, talking nice to yourself, telling yourself to shut up when you're being your inner critic, you know, stuff like that. So work on your headspace first. This is like the number one goal. When you get up every single morning, you should be working on your headspace. You should be being grateful. You should be making sure that you eat a healthy meal for yourself, you know, like saying, you know, I'm worth spending the extra money on this breakfast. I'm worth spending the extra money on high quality coffee. I'm worth sitting down and writing out my goals for the week and just taking care of my mind. So headspace is the very, very first thing that you should be working on when it comes to being consistent with your goals, because this right here is what's going to matter. This right here is going to take you to the next level, or it's going to keep you in the same spot, or it's going to pull you down. Okay, so headspace is the number one for being consistent with your goals. The next one is like learning to think for yourself. Okay, so I find when I, see a lot of fitness or health posts or whatever, it's very similar to the other coach next to them. It's very similar to any other advice that's being given with goals and health and fitness and mindset, okay? You need to start learning to think for yourself. You need to start learning to biohack yourself. And the reason that this is so important is because once you begin to think about yourself and how you actually feel and how you're actually thinking and how you're actually moving, then you can start to do these things with intention that actually make you feel good. And over time, you're going to be more successful. You're actually going to be able to have longevity with these goals. Because if you're always being told what to do and then you're following another diet trend and you're following another fitness program and it's not personalized to you, it's not biohacked to you, and it's not really making you feel good and you're stressed out because you have to show up for these things, then it's not going to work long term. It's not going to be working if you hate counting macros, if you hate being in a calorie deficit, if you haven't worked on your internal space, if you're not thinking outside of the typical box, right? So you need to learn how to think for yourself when it comes to diet, when it comes to your lifestyle, when it comes to your happiness, when it comes to your exercise, when it comes to literally everything in your life. Start to think about the things that you actually want, that makes you feel good, that makes you feel healthy and well, then that is going to be the personalized path for you, okay? We don't have to follow all these other people's path. Really, you need to figure it out for yourself and use your own brain and come up with the solutions, right? This is what I do as a coach for people. I help you personalize your stuff. We do not need to do what everybody else is doing. What we need to do is get back to the basis of how we are supposed to eat, move, and live, and then expand from there, biohack from there. And that's how you begin to think for yourself. The third one is you need to create discipline, okay? And the way that you do that is you just show up for something every single day, even if you don't want to do it, okay? So discipline is just like a job. Like, you might not want to go to the job, but you know that you have to go to the job because it creates, income for you. It has a reward at the end of it, right? So even if you don't want to eat the healthy meal, you would rather eat the piece of cake or whatever, have the discipline to switch and say, you know what, even though I want to eat that, I'm going to eat this instead. And you need to do that consistently. Eventually, you will create discipline. So same with workouts. Show up for a workout, even if it's going to be a sucky freaking workout, even if it's 15 minutes long, even if it's 10 minutes long. Just get into the creation of discipline. Show up every single day, no matter what. It doesn't matter what's going on around you. It doesn't matter how your kids are acting. It doesn't matter what the excuse is. Show up anyways. And that's how you create discipline and really build consistency. Number 4, stop quitting when it gets hard. Okay. It's going to always get hard. You're going to have ups, downs. You're going to have peaks, valleys, and you're going to have straight lines, right? And you're never going to be fully motivated. There's going to be times where you're like, man, this really freaking sucks. It doesn't matter. Do not quit, because then you have to keep starting over, okay? So building consistency is really about not quitting. You just can't quit. You can modify, you can adjust, you can slow down, you can speed up, but do not quit. And that's how you build consistency. And number 5 is stop over rewarding yourself. And I know this sounds really weird because this is not something that you normally hear, but this has to do with your dopamine levels, okay? So you actually want to create an internal reward system. And what that looks like is, like, when it comes to fitness, this is how I first discovered this, and I was running all the time. I would run a certain distance, and then I'd be like, you know what, that was freaking great, Haley. Like, I would start internally talking to myself, and that was my reward. My reward was self-praise. That was my first reward. Eventually, when I started running longer distances, I would go ahead and have that self-talk, but I would also reward myself with something so freaking simple, which was a coconut water. Okay. So these are like smaller awards. They're not like crazy awards where, like, for kids, for instance, if they were to win a football game, like, the reward should be like, woo, you guys won. Like, you won and you should be proud of yourself. That should be the reward. Not, oh, you guys won and now we're going to go to a pizza party every single time, because this doubles the dopamine and it actually reduces the want to be successful in whatever experience you're trying to have. Okay, so for the kids, it actually might reduce the want to win the game, because really they're just looking for the pizza party. So if they don't get the pizza party at the end of this game, then they don't really care if they win. Do you see what I'm saying? So you don't want to keep piling the dopamine response, piling up the rewards. You want to build the internal reward system, the self-praise, the little goals that you achieve after long periods of time. Those should be your reward systems. And we dump dopamine on ourselves all the freaking time, which is why we have to keep overstimulating ourselves. And so when times actually get hard and it's at a point where you want to quit, you quit because you don't have the internal reward system. You're looking for these outrageous successes and these outrageous goals instead of these small little stepping stones, right? So stop over rewarding yourself. Stop feeding yourself the piece of cake because you did really great all week. Like, you don't really deserve it, right? You deserve a pat on the back. Like, I showed up for myself all week, and that's good enough. That is the reward, because over time, when you do this for a long period of time, your reward's going to be like more than you would imagine. You're going to have a totally different body. You're going to have a totally different look on life. You're going to interact with people differently. You're going to start taking care of the earth better. You're going to have a totally different perception, and that's what you want. We don't need these outside sources to reward us. We need an internal source to reward us. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because that's going to build consistency over the long term, having an internal reward system. So you won't run out of goals, okay, on the external, right? And you won't be overstimulated with the external. You'll actually be rewarded inside because you know that you did something good, not only for yourself, but for others. So hopefully this helps you. I do have a free coaching class coming up. It's actually in the event section of this page, and it's going to be vision boards, power words, basically creating a goal plan and an intention to action so you guys can be more consistent with your goals and you can have success for 2022. It's totally free. So if you want to join that, you can comment, send me the link below, or you can look for it in the event tab. And if you got any value out of this, please say that you did in the comments below. And I hope you guys have a happy New Year's Eve and happy first day of the new year. Make sure you show up for yourself. The first day is always the hardest. Just show up and start creating the discipline, and you guys will win this year. See ya.